Local transit drivers approve a strike mandate. A vigil has been held for McKenzie Munes. And the UN Security Council approves a Gaza aid resolution. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay's transit workers have voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action if their union can't come to an agreement with the city. The vote by Amalgamated Transit Union Local 966 members was held last night. It comes after contract talks with the city broke down on December 14th, following about 6 months of negotiations.
It seems every time they come to the bargaining table with the transit workers, they're in a crisis, for a financial crisis, and we're just tired of that.
99 out of 100 voting workers supported the strike mandate. The ATU represents 156 active members in total. They've been working without a contract since July. The talks will now go to conciliation. That process is expected to take place in January, and if there's still no resolution, the city could be looking at a transit strike in February. Local union president Fred Caputo says members are fed up with hearing there's no money after the city approved raises for management and senior staff last year.
Transit's in a crisis right now. Manpower is at an all-time low. And, our benefits are important, and this is what brings people to work at the city, and they're trying to cut our benefits. Wages are important, and they're continually keeping us down on our wages.
Caputo says transit workers would prefer to keep the buses on the road, and he's optimistic that a strike can still be avoided. City officials weren't available for comment today. A vigil was held last night in honor of 14-year-old McKenzie Munes, whose body was discovered near Marina Park earlier this week. Dozens attended the gathering at the waterfront to show their respects and honor the Neskantaga First Nation teenager. Candles were handed out during the vigil as the group gathered around a fire. Munes was in Thunder Bay to attend school and went missing on December 13th. Her body was discovered Monday morning in the water near the Sleeping Giant Parkway. The holiday travel season is in high gear, with many people making plans to travel home to spend time with friends and family. The Thunder Bay Airport says these are the busiest travel days of the season, with thousands of passengers heading in and out this weekend. There were a few cancellations and delays on the flight information board early this morning, but for the most part, all scheduled flights arrived and left on time. The Christmas season is always a busy time at the local airport, with many happy families reuniting and others looking to fly from here to their own hometowns. Airport CEO Ed Schmidtke says the airport has plans in place to handle the extra traffic during the Christmas weekend, but he still encourages travelers to show up early to help keep things moving.
There could be some weather-related safety delays for de-icing and that sort of thing. We encourage people to stay in touch with their airlines, flight status, check our website for flight status. Things are looking very good. Most of our flights so far today are early. Here's hoping, fingers crossed, for the rest of the season. But stay in touch so you're not surprised.
I'm a little early. My flight's at noon, but I like to take my time and have something to eat. And we got a nice airport here. It's really nice. Yeah.
Beat the rush too, I'm sure, right?
Beats Toronto Airport for sometimes for the amount of people, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice here, Thunder Bay.
Schmidtke adds the airport is expected to see large numbers again starting around December 29th, and travelers should plan accordingly at that time as well. Thunder Bay Professional Firefighters Association is celebrating a record-breaking year for the annual Toys for Tots campaign. A check was presented to the Christmas Cheer Fund for a total of $177,000 to provide toys for 4,300 children in need. Josh Morano was there.
Launched at the end of November, it was a record-breaking season as the Toys for Tots campaign brought in $177,071, which was then turned over to the Christmas Cheer Fund. Toys for Tots Chair Paul Penna says there was something really special about this year's campaign, and seeing the community come together is what the holiday season is all about.
Thunder Bay is probably one of the most charitable cities in Canada, and year after year, not just this year. And the number is higher than ever before, but our need is also higher than ever before. So I don't know why or how it happened, but it happened, and we're happy about that.
The campaign partners with the Christmas Cheer Fund, which then uses the money to buy toys to put in hampers which go out to families in Thunder Bay who need them. Jolene Kemp was the chair for Christmas Cheer this season, and she says they were able to give 8,500 people food along with gifts for 8,300 children. Following a very successful year, Kemp is stepping down as chair of the campaign and handing the reins to her niece, Jill Thompson.
You always learn that there's a beginning, middle, and an end. And if you want to end on a high, then know when it's time to step back and to simply enjoy.
I've watched for over 18 years my aunt take over this and do it so successfully. I hope I can be as successful as she is. We have a great team behind us, so I don't anticipate any challenges with working with the team. I've been taking on different roles for the last 4 years, so I feel I'm ready.
It's going to be a wonderful time, and she will enjoy the magic that happens.
Kemp will remain a member of the Christmas Cheer Board. The money raised this holiday season will go towards next year's hampers. Josh Morano, TBT News.
Sometimes having a sweet tooth pays off. The Tim Hortons Holiday Smile Cookie campaign that was held in mid-November raised more than $65,000 for the Thunder Bay Shelter House and Tim Hortons Foundation camps. This year was the first ever holiday edition of the Smile Cookie campaign. Half of the funds raised went to the Shelter House and the other half to the Tim Hortons Foundation. This afternoon, owners of the Tims on Sibley Drive presented a check for $32,000 to officials with the Shelter House. Board Chair Paul Capon says he's overwhelmed by the community support.
It truly is put a smile on my face and our face. We had no idea the level of support that was there, and we're so pleased. This very much will help Shelter House in its mission and duty to help those less fortunate, housing and feeding people, and we really do appreciate this.
For our first year, we were absolutely amazed how many cookies we sold. We actually ran out of the holiday cookie. We had to go to the chocolate chip cookie, but for a first year, we know for next year, and definitely we'll be more prepared next year to sell more of these cookies.
More information on how to donate to the Shelter House can be found on its website. Some kids in the region are watching the skies for airplanes as well as reindeer this week. The RCMP's Toys for the North campaign has once again partnered with North Star Air to bring gifts to several fly-in First Nations. Santa's flight landed in Ogoki Post yesterday. Lee Noonan was there.
Santa Claus, aided by staff from North Star Air and the RCMP, delivered about 80 gifts to the Martin Falls First Nation Reserve located at Ogoki Post. Kids 12 and under were invited to say hi to Santa and collect their presents.
Thank you, Santa.
North Star Air's Director of Marketing, Karen Matson, firmly believes that airplanes are superior to reindeer when it comes to delivering the presents to the north, despite some big delays in getting the toys shipped up from southern Ontario this year.
It's sometimes a bit of a nightmare, but once we get them on the road, on the transport trucks with Garda wine to our Red Lake and Pickle Lake base, it's easy from there.
The delays meant that only the Martin Falls youth are getting a personal delivery by Santa. For the 4 other First Nations, toys are being dropped off by North Star Air pilots.
One of the communities being Fort Severn, and which is at the top of the most northern point there in northern Ontario. So we're talking a lot of clicks that we'll be traveling with our freighters to get those goods up there.
Gifts have also been delivered to Deer Lake, but kids in Poplar Hill, Casablanca, and Fort Severn may be waiting until just after Christmas for their toy deliveries. North Star is a local partner with the RCMP's National Toys for the North campaign. This year, they collected more than $500,000 in toy donations for northern communities across the country.
Well, this campaign has been going on for over 12 years. North Star Air has been a part of it for 10 years. We are in our 10th year. So this starts months ago down in southern Ontario with the RCMP O Division. And they start the campaign and start collecting toys.
In total, Martin says there were about 10,000 pounds of toys delivered to the 5 communities. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Rock 94 and 91.5 CKPR announced the winner of their Light Up the Night contest this morning. Peter and Angela Geisen received the most online votes and were rewarded with $1,000 cash for their Christmas display on Pennock Drive. The Geisens were surprised last night by Rock 94's Kale and JD and 91.5's Laura with the check for their incredible scenic Christmas lights display. The light show runs from the front yard all the way to their backyard with a walking trail for people to check out the thousands of Christmas lights and decorations. Peter Geisen says the big check is nice, but it's not the most important reward.
For me, I always wonder why I'm doing it sometimes, because sometimes it's bad weather and it's not very fun. But this year's been beautiful. But the big reward is seeing people coming, young and old, smiling and even dancing. The music's going, and that really gets people in the festive mood. And yeah, so the smiles that it brings, I see pictures on Facebook, and when I see that, that's the motivator that drives me to get her done. So.
The display is open to anyone who wants to come see the lights on Pennock Drive off of Roslyn Road. And Fiona, it's good to know that there are displays like that throughout the city, helping to get people in the Christmas spirit. The weather hasn't really done it, so we've got to look for other things.
We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Last night we didn't even drop below the freezing mark, so any precipitation that we were hoping would come in the form of maybe a little bit of snow actually came in some wet mist or maybe some drizzle. We had an overnight low of 1 Celsius and we warmed up 2 whole degrees. 3 Celsius was our high, and that was under almost no wind throughout the day. We were either calm or all the way up to a whole 6 kilometers an hour from the north. Now, that lack of movement in the temperatures overnight to the day was felt pretty much across the region without exception. Overnight lows on average were maybe 2 degrees lower than the highs for the day, which is what most locations are actually at this time. We're at 2 in Atikokan, 1 in Upsala, Dryden, Kenora, Fort Francis. They've got, no surprise, a lot of cloud, as is the case in Red Lake. They're at 1. Sioux Lookout also at 1. Pickle Lake and Armstrong both on the freezing mark. Greenstone on the plus side at 1. They've had a lot of mist off and on for much of the day, starting to see a little bit of clearing. That's not going to last long. Along the North Shore, they're just a degree or 2 above the freezing mark, and Sault Ste. Marie also at 1 Celsius. It's been mainly cloudy for much of the day, starting to get a little grayer, if that's possible, this evening. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay, it's going to be another ridiculously mild night. In fact, temperatures are going to continue not to really move all that much. We're going to look at a low of 0 under some low cloud, and then heading into Saturday, well, more gray skies and not really much of a chance at snowfall as the warmer air continues to push up from the south and blanket northwestern Ontario, not only for Saturday but for Sunday. And yes, we could definitely see record highs tomorrow. I'll have more details later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, when we return, the latest on the war in the Middle East, the UN today, the Security Council, passed a resolution to speed up aid into Gaza, but some are calling it a very watered-down resolution. We'll tell you why after the break.
The time is ticking where we will start seeing people starving to death